What's up, guys? I just wanted to do a quick commentary on what happened last night, all the way up to today. We're coming up on the 24 hours of the Las Vegas shooting, and I was actually supposed to go to Vegas this weekend, but because my mom got sick, I decided to stay in California to watch over her. But regardless, I still wouldn't be in that situation because that's a target-rich environment, and in the times we live with terrorism and all kinds of stuff like that, you don't want to be in that position. But I just find it so weird what's been going on. The events, the motivation for why he did it, the number of firearms he had. It makes no sense. And the leftists in this country, most of them are some of my favorite artists, are going to right away go ahead and they're gonna shout for gun control, but it makes no sense. This guy was what, 64? He's retired. He had good money. He had enough money to go gamble anytime he wanted and spend significant funds. In fact, the number of guns, the last I saw on the update, was he had 23 guns in the hotel room, and 19 they found at his home in Mesquite. This is unbelievable. Why would someone have that many guns? It Just the way this whole thing went about. He struck me as a leftist. He struck me as someone who didn't really know firearms. Because if he was a true assassin, he would have been more targeted in what he did. And the leftists want to go gun control, but really they're not talking about self-control. When someone has political motivations or any kind of motivation to want to kill and take human life, that's a mental issue. And really, there's no amount of criminal background check you could do, mental health evaluation you could do to discover that kind of person, because he kind of did this at the very last minute. So, he wasn't even on the screen of law enforcement. He wasn't on the screen for mental health disorders. He was able to purchase guns legally. This is just weird stuff. So really, we should be talking about self-control and not gun control. Because the reality of it is, if someone had gone and driven a car in that crowd, they probably would have killed a lot more people. Or if they had even had explosives, probably would have killed a lot more people. So the reality of it is, it's not the weapon that they chose to use. It's the fact that they're so mentally unstable that they decide that it's okay to kill people. And this is why I'm always cautioning about what the Democrats like to go to first, which is gun control. Democrats and the leftists like the authoritarian socialist control mechanism, where they like to bring in people from this country who don't follow the laws, number one. They don't understand our freedoms, number two. They will be more willing to fight for gun control because they come from countries that oftentimes have gun control already and are controlled by the government. So these are issues that we really need to sit and evaluate. What's going on in our country that people are so mentally disturbed that they'll kill people? And the Democrats like to support abortion, where they kill children. They like to support lawlessness, and it's just really, we should look at what the Democrats are saying when they're pointing at gun control. Don't give up your freedoms. Self-defense is the most important freedom. A lot of my favorite actors and artists are talking about, oh, the founding fathers didn't envision a world with semi-automatics. No, they didn't. They envisioned a world where if your government had a certain type of weapon, you also had that same type of weapon. They didn't know what kind of weapon that would be, whether it was a laser beam or it was some kind of vanishing disintegration gun or a machine gun or what you guys term assault weapon. I mean, the reality of it is they didn't know what the future of weapons would be. That's why they said the right to bear arms. They didn't say the right to bear muskets. So it implied that they had already factored in that firearms and technology would change, and that there would be weapons for everybody to use, and that the government would adopt certain weapons, and that the people should have that same type of weapon. So all you guys that are pulling that garbage, really think. It's not, you like to say, oh, logic, it's that simple. No, you're not using any logic. The reality of it is, if you really look at things, don't declaw yourself. A lot of you leftists like animals, and if you're the type of person that likes to declaw your animal and then let them outside, you are an animal abuser, and really you should send PETA against yourself, and all these animal rights organizations that a lot of you leftist guys like to support. You should send them against yourselves, because you're really creating a situation for your animal to get harmed. And that's the same situation where we remove the right to bear arms from people. We're setting up more situations where people can be shot by other people who can bear arms except for us. And personally, I don't want that. I want the choice. That's what freedom is. It's choice. It's being able to go to the store and choosing, do I want Pepsi? Do I want Coke? Do I want Sprite? Do I want Sunkist? Do I want Fanta? I mean, that's freedom of choice. When you take away choice, you don't have freedom anymore. If all you can have is water, that's the only drink you can have, there's no more choice. Same thing with a gun. If you want to choose not to have a gun, that's your right. Go ahead. Choose to be defenseless. That's on you. And maybe you're not the type of person that likes to defend yourself. You're the type of person that likes to run. I'm all for it as long as you don't get killed. And as long as you don't get in the way of people like me who don't like to run, who want to solve these problems by ending the lives of the people who try to end the lives of others. I would rather have a gun on my side, and if someone pulls a gun in front of me, I want to be able to pull that gun and end their life at that moment without any hesitation. I would not feel any remorse. For someone who's trying to kill other people, I would end them without a doubt. And if you're the type of person that's not that type of person, get out of my way. Don't interfere with me stopping that person, and don't get shot by that person. That's the main concern. But let me have that choice that I want to carry, and I'll let you have the choice that you don't have to. That's the freedom for both of us. Don't be a fascist and just choose your way only and make sure everybody does your way only. That's fascism. And you guys don't realize it, but you are. You're fascist when you want gun control. Because the reality of it is, you look at places like China. Okay, there are no mass shootings. Why? Because the government owns the guns. So when the government shoots you, do you think they're going to report that as part of the statistics for mass shootings? They're not going to let anybody know they shot you. You end up in one of those body exhibits. And if you want to kill somebody and you're not part of the government, what do? You get a knife. They have mass stabbings in those countries. You go to Europe and a socialist like France where they have ultimate gun control. What do they use? They use trucks to kill people. So gun control is not the way. I mean, ultimately, we need to have better solutions, and it has to do with self-control. So the reality of this is guard your freedoms very closely. Fight for what's right. And do not just go along with the Democrats who are trying to go with the emotional route. I feel sorry for everybody who lost their lives. I pray that they rest in peace. And then if you lost one, my condolences and sympathies go out to you. All right, you guys take care and be safe. Stay away from target-rich environments where there are people that might try to hurt you or harm you. And all around, be more aware of your surroundings. Plan out your exits the moment you enter, and you should be pretty good. And even think about it when you get in there. What would happen if everybody was rushing for that same exit? So think about it. How would I get there first? Or what's another exit where fewer people would go where I have a chance of escaping, if you're the type that likes to flee? So have those kinds of ideas ready so that if a surprise happens, it's not a surprise to you. You're prepared. You've thought it through. You've planned it out. This guy, I always thought he was Antifa because the Antifa people like to go to guns, but they don't know crap about guns. If you look at their training videos, they shoot and all the rounds are going around the target instead of into it. So this is the kind of guy who it makes logical sense to him to have a rapid fire weapon. More rounds going out to hurt people. But the thing is, you lose your accuracy when you do that. Your muzzle rises, and really, it tells me that this guy was not a very expert assassin. He was an amateur, and he just decided at the last minute to exercise his right to bear arms. And unfortunately, he's not a real gun owner, because real gun owners like me want to preserve that right. I would never ever use my firearm to murder someone. I would only use my firearm in self-defense, and I always want that right to have my self-defense at my side. So I would not abuse that right. So think about it. This guy, it just makes no sense. Take care, guys, and God bless.